So let's talk about using this verb should. And we use should when we need to say, similar to like, you have to, something is very important. You should, do something. Okay, so should, we're talking about using should and the negative shouldn't. And how do we use that? What does it mean when we say should? So let's have a look at some grammar for that first. So should, as I said, it means that you're telling someone that something is important. And how do we create this sentence? Well, we have a subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, should, and the verb. Now, the verb is in the infinitive. That means that you don't change it. There's no ing, there's no ed. It's just the verb as it is. And the verb is the same for all the subjects. So it's like saying, I should study because I have a test tomorrow. You should read or you should watch this movie. It's so good. You should be careful from sharks. Okay, if you're swimming in the ocean, you should be careful. You should try eating kangaroo meat. So you could see I'm recommending, I'm telling someone what I think is very important for them. In Brazil, you should go to the beach because we have many beautiful beaches. In summer, to avoid skin cancer, you should take an umbrella when going to the beach. You should visit Sydney to see the Opera House. You should visit the Opera House. You should buy a metro card so that you can travel by bus, train, or tram. Okay, so you could see should, doesn't matter the subject. If you're talking about yourself, I have to go. I should sleep early because I've got work tomorrow. Or if I'm telling you, you should work more. You should save more money. You should go to Kangaroo Island. It's an amazing place. So I'm telling you what I think, not just what I think, but what I feel I'm recommending to you because it's very important. That's what I believe, and I want to share it with you. And it could be about an experience. It could be about places. It could be about food. It could be about what music, show. I mean, anything. You could tell someone anything that you think is important that you want them to do, you should. Okay, like on Sunday, as Henry, knows, you should go to church because it's a holy day. It's a day to praise the Lord, right? We should tell people you should go to church on Sundays. Okay, so that's how we use should. Now, to have a negative sentence, so that means I don't want to say something is important. We have the subject, and then we just add not. So should not, and then the verb, the main action. So for example, you should not eat before you sleep. You should not stay up late because the next day you'll be very tired. You should not. Now, if I want, I can make this connected and say shouldn't. Okay, so shouldn't. In Colombia, you shouldn't use your phone on the bus as someone can steal it from you. Okay, in church, you shouldn't speak very loudly or chat. When you're in class, you shouldn't use your phone. So when I say shouldn't, it means I'm saying it's not important. Okay, it's a negative. It's not important. You shouldn't. Now, I can ask a question because we can always ask a question in any of the grammar forms. So as a question, you always start with the verb. So should, and then you've got the subject. Should I? Maybe I'm asking myself, should I learn a new language? Should I save money? Because someday I may need it. should I book my ticket now? So you can ask yourself that question. Or you can ask someone else, should you be doing something? Should we? Usually when you're talking to people, like you're together, should we go to the movies tonight? Should we have dinner at a restaurant? Okay, so it's a suggestion. I'm saying what we should do, what I think is important as a question. And remember, the verb is the same. There's no ing, there's no ed. It's the same verb for all the subjects. Okay, so we'll listen to a short audio. But just before we do that, let's go to question 8. So you should rent a car. That's good. I'm telling someone you should rent a car. You shouldn't go to Russia in winter because it's very, very cold. You shouldn't. Should I go with a tour guide? Do you think I should take a tour guide? And to respond, we say, yes, you should, or no, you shouldn't. So when we respond, so yes, depends on the subject. Yes, I should. Yes, you should. Or if it's no, you shouldn't. Now you don't need to repeat the whole sentence. So no, you shouldn't. Okay, so that's how we respond. Yes, you should. Yes, we should. No, we shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. So it depends on the subject, but I'm just using you as an example. You can just put a full stop there. Yes, you should. So number 8, what form is the verb after should and shouldn't? Infinitive. It just means that I haven't changed it. It's not in the past. It's not in the present. It's not in the simple. It is in the infinitive form. I don't change it. So sleep, eat, play, dance, speak, sing. Okay? I don't change the verb. No ing, no ed. How do you make a question with should? Okay, you can write this answer. We have should, and then the subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and then the verb. Should I see a movie tonight or stay at home? And do you use the auxiliary do or does in the negative? No. So in the negative, you do not say do or does, you say not. And if you want, you can connect it and it will be shouldn't. Okay, so just before we listen to the audio, let's have a look at number 9. So let's give some advice. So we use should also when we want to give advice. So it's to say that something is important and we're giving advice. So I'm telling you what I think is good. When I give someone advice, like Eloise and I might say, you should go swimming because swimming is really good. Because Eloise and I, we know that swimming is good. So we want to give people advice and we say, you should go swimming. It's a good form of exercise. You should, swim. You should eat healthy food. You should, cut down on your sugar and alcohol. You shouldn't smoke. Okay, negative. You shouldn't smoke. You shouldn't do it. So I'm giving you advice. Okay, so we use it in 2 ways. When we want to say something is very important, or because I want to give advice. I want to tell you what I think is good for you. So if someone says, I'm very tired, maybe we can tell them, if you're tired, then you should take a holiday. Yeah. If you're tired, you should sleep early. Okay. So you should sleep early. Okay. You should relax. You should relax tonight. Okay. That's good advice. Okay. If someone tells you they're very tired, they're very exhausted, okay, well, you should take a holiday. You should relax. If someone says the sun is shining and the temperature is 40 degrees, so someone says, wow, it's really, really hot, you should wear sunscreen. You should stay home and put the AC on, or you should stay in a cool place. You should stay in a cool place. Any other advice that we could tell people what they should do if they're saying it's very, very hot? You should wear sunscreen. You should stay under cover. You should just go to the mall. It's very hot. Just go to the mall. Stay in a cool place. Stay at home. You should put the AC on. If someone says, I can't speak the local language, then you should learn some local words. You should learn some phrases. Okay, so maybe you're traveling and you realize I can't understand the people. Then, maybe you should learn some words before you travel. If someone says the public transport is slow to the city, well, you shouldn't take the bus. You should take a taxi. You should take your car, or maybe you should take a taxi. It will be faster. Yeah. So you should take your car, or you should drive, or you should take a taxi or Uber. A taxi or Uber. If someone said this shop is very expensive, well, you should go to the local markets, or you should buy it online, or you should buy items online. That means things, you should buy online because you'll save more money. You'll save more money, so you should buy online. Okay, or go to the local markets. You should go to the local markets. There's lots of good, cheap, homemade stuff. You'll save money. If someone says Italy has very old and beautiful buildings, we should tell them you should go sightseeing. You should go see all these places. If someone says you can visit islands in Vietnam, you can visit islands in Vietnam. So you should take a boat, yeah, to go to the islands in Vietnam. You should take a boat. You should take a cruise, take a tour guide with a boat, you should book a cruise and go see all the islands in Vietnam. If someone says in Norway, it's very cold in December and January, you shouldn't go in winter to Norway. Okay, you shouldn't go in winter to Norway. Any other advice that you think you could say? You shouldn't, or you should take, we can make it a positive. You should take coats with you. Okay, you should take, your jackets, your coats, umbrella. You should take, coats with you. Okay, So now let's listen to an audio, and we're going to listen to a tourist. They're speaking. So we're going to know what places are they speaking about. There's 3 places. Did they go on a tour? What was the temperature like? What transport did they use? And what accommodation did they use? Okay, so let's listen to a short audio. And there's a travel expert, Jan. Okay, so Jan is going to give you advice about traveling to these 3 places. Now, she is an expert in traveling, so she's going to give you advice. And because she's giving you advice, make sure you listen in the audio how she says what you should do. You know, because it's cold, what should you do? Because the transport, what should you do? The accommodation, what should you do? So listen to this grammar, should. Okay, let's listen to the audio.
Track 104.
Unit 11A.
Hello and welcome to your weekly podcast from indietravelinfo.com. With me today is travel writer Jan Lanting with more suggestions for the independent traveller. Jan, today I want to start with your advice for travellers this year. Can you give us some suggestions for good places to visit?
Yes. First of all, you don't have to leave England. Last week, I took a short break on my own to Thurleston on the southwest coast. It's a beautiful place.
What's the best way to travel there?
You can take the train, but I think you should rent a car. Then you can drive along the coast.
What's the weather like at this time of year?
A bit cold, and sometimes it rains, so you should take a coat.
I think I'd prefer to go somewhere warmer.
OK, well, you should fly to Malaysia. It's hot at this time of year.
Sounds great. With a place like Malaysia, should I book accommodation before I go?
In the big cities, hotels are often busy, so you should book in advance. But in the countryside, it's no problem. You can always find a room. I also recommend taking a tour into the jungle.
The jungle?
That's right. You can see lots of amazing animals and plants.
Should I go with a tour guide?
Yes, you should. It's dangerous on your own.
Sure. Now for our final destination. The Arctic.
That's right, the Arctic.
Isn't it cold?
Yes, it is. Also, you shouldn't go in the winter because it's dark. But in the summer, the days are longer and it's a bit warmer, so you should go then.
But how do you get there? Should I go on my own or with a tour?
You have to go with a travel company. When I went, I took a cruise ship from Norway and slept in a nice cabin on the ship. It was very comfortable.
Okay, so we've got this verb to take. So question 10, to take. And we can use this verb in so many ways. We can say to take time off work. So if you take time off work, that means you're taking a break. Okay, or like you're taking a little holiday, you're taking time off work. Okay, so that's a verb, and you can see the verb comes not just with one word, but with many words to take time off work. So for example, yesterday, I took time off work. Next week, I will take time off work. I will take a break. We can take a taxi, so a type of transport. We can take a bus, we can take a taxi, we can take an Uber. Okay, so when you talk about types of transports, How do you go from one place to another? You take a bus, a taxi, Uber. We can also take an object. So, on my holiday, I took an umbrella. I took lots of dresses. I took sunscreen. I took lots of photos to take an object. So an object is something that you can hold, an item, an object, so I can take it. So yesterday to my friend's birthday, I took a cake. All right, well, you can take something. It means that you're like holding it and taking it with you somewhere. And we can also use the word to take when we're talking about having a shower. We take a shower. So you could say, did you take a shower? Or I'm going to take a shower now. Okay, not just the shower, but you could also take a bath. Okay, so when it's talking about like washing yourself. So we say to take a shower or to take a bath. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this grammar word, to take, and how we can use it in many ways. So let's look at some examples. We can ask a question. Can you take the tools downstairs for me? Or, can you please take my books to the car? You could talk in the present simple and talk about your routine. Well, I take a shower every morning. I take a shower every night when I get home. Or I only take a shower on the weekends. Or I take a shower every 2 days. I take a bath once a month, because a bath is different. A bath is when you lie down, like it's a bath. But a shower is when you're standing and the water is coming on you. Okay, so we can use this sentence like in the present simple to talk about our routine. I'm taking your phone to take a picture. So I can use it in the present continuous. I'm going to take you somewhere. I'm going to take you to a special restaurant. I'm going to take your book and return it to you tomorrow. I'm going to take your hand. Someone can ask you if they want to hold your hand. I'm going to take your hand. Or I'm going to take your bag for you, or your coat. When someone comes to your home, you can take off, you can say to them, I'm going to take your coat and put it here. You can say a sentence like, you can take a bus to go to the city. You can take a taxi, it's more expensive. Or you can take a bus, it's cheaper. And with the object, you can say something like, I take a banana to work every day. I take my lunch with me every day to work. I take my credit card with me everywhere. Or some people say, I don't take cash. If you're buying something in a shop, they say, sorry, we don't take cash, only card. Another object, I take my book to class every day. I take my phone with me every day. Okay, so that's just some examples with the verb take. So now let's do some writing. We're going to do writing. We're going to choose a country that we know very well and write about it. So choose a country you know well and write advice for a tourist. So remember, we are talking about advice, so we need to say should. What do we want to tell someone that they should or shouldn't do? So first, I'm going to read some examples and then we'll go into groups and do the exercise. So Lewis says, a good place to visit in my country is Medellin. I think it has a good climate and many famous places. It's easy to get around by the metro cable. The locals are passionate about food. You can try the paisa tray, which is very popular. So you can see when we use should, we can use can with it. They go together. You should, you can. Edward says, when you visit Colombia, you should visit the Chicamoca Canyon, which is located in Santander and is one of the most famous tourist attractions in the country. On the way there, you can stop for a corn apria with cheese and caramelized chorizo. And you should use a bus to get there or rent a car to get around. You can also find many souvenirs, shops, hotels, and restaurants serving the best of Colombian food. Shirley says, you have to check the local weather when you want to travel to Korea, as the weather can change depending on the season. When there, you must try the local delicacies such as kimchi, Korean barbecue, and seafood hot pot. Don't miss out on these street foods. You can easily explore Korea with its convenient transportation system to places and shopping malls. Brian says you should visit Hawaii and its capital, Honolulu. There are many important touristic places, but the most important place is Waikiki Beach. In Hawaii, there are only 2 seasons, winter and summer. The local common language is Hawaiian, but English is also spoken there. The best dish is fish because Hawaii is surrounded by the ocean. So you should eat lots of seafood. And Jonathan says, if you travel to Colombia, you should know that the local language is Spanish. When there, you can go shopping at the Premium Plaza shopping mall in Medellin City and eat bandeja paisa because it is delicious. You can also visit Cartagena because it is a very beautiful city, but you shouldn't go to Botero Plaza because it is unsafe to do so. You shouldn't use your phone on public transportation. You can visit Bogota City, but you should wear a jacket to go out because the weather is very cold there. Okay, so that was lots and lots of examples about giving advice, telling someone about a place, what should they do? It's really important that they should do this, and also what they shouldn't do. It's not so important. They don't have to do it. It's not important. They don't have to do it.